What up, this is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment. And here's my review of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Let's rock this. By the way, this review is spoiler-free, meaning this video does not contain spoilers. I repeat, it does not contain spoilers. But I will genuinely share with you how Star Wars The Last Jedi affects me as a movie fan, as a Star Wars fan, and whether or not I think this film does what it's supposed to do. Audiences around the world tend to agree that Empire Strikes Back is one of the best sequels ever made. Well, Star Wars The Last Jedi can easily take that honor now. This movie is astonishing and spectacular. It pushes many of this franchise's familiar elements to their limits, and it really digs deep into the key characters and brings forth everything that stands out about them. Writer-director Rian Johnson is an impeccable storyteller. The story picks up after the events in Star Wars The Force Awakens. By this time, the First Order grows stronger as it corners the Resistance to an impossible situation. Poe Dameron, Finn, and Rose come up with a plan that could work, but time is of the essence. Meanwhile, Rey is doing her best to convince Luke Skywalker to join in on the fight, but Luke doesn't want to be a Jedi or a Master anymore, let alone the Resistance's final hope. Okay, so if you're wondering what happens to Kylo Ren, Rey, Finn, Poe Dameron in this latest installment this time around, without giving it away, what Star Wars The Last Jedi does is essentially flesh out these characters. Not only will you get to know their history, their background, and what it is that truly compels them, but this time, they're also facing some very difficult choices. And the film also lays out judgment on some of them and puts an end to some parts of the story that really doesn't need to be continued anymore in the next episode. What's brilliant about this story that Rian Johnson has crafted is that it makes you think that each of these characters has their own respective path that they're going on, so you would expect them to see it through, but bam! All of a sudden, other plans take over. And turns out, these new unexpected plans actually make sense to the overall arc. Rian Johnson wants these characters' personal journeys to be some kind of refined in the fire type of journeys. Each revelation, each aspect brings them one step closer to being the lead stars of this new trilogy as the old icons take a step back further away from the spotlight. Speaking of whom, it's so awesome watching Mark Hamill be Luke Skywalker again. He has a bigger role this time. Oh, such a larger-than-life legend. And Hamill actually gives his best performance in years in this one. I know a lot of fans considered Star Wars The Force Awakens 2 years ago to be more or less a rehash of A New Hope. And I don't blame them for thinking that, because to a certain extent, it was a rehash. But it was a necessary rehash because after the super boring, parliamentary-heavy prequels by George Lucas, you know, those episodes 1, 2, and 3, it was important for Star Wars The Force Awakens to remind us that this franchise was once super fun and exciting. So because that problem was taken care of, now Rian Johnson doesn't have to do such reminder or similar thing with Star Wars The Last Jedi. This is not an Empire Strikes Back rehash. Rian can freely do what he does best, similar to what he did with Brick, The Brothers Bloom, and Looper, and that is to further explore the possible consequences of the characters' decisions, while at the same time amplifying everything you love about Star Wars. It even brings back some familiar faces. So if you have always been fascinated with the Force, this movie emphasizes the Force all the more. If you miss the late great Carrie Fisher, this movie has a heavy dose of General Leia. If Lightspeed gets you stoked, there's plenty of those here. And if you're a big fan of Jedi mind trick, boy, does Star Wars The Last Jedi has a big mother load of surprise for you or what. Such incredible, breathtaking new locations too, especially the vast salt land in Bolivia that serves as the backdrop for Planet Crate. The battle sequences in this film are pulse-pounding, explosive, and intense. The lightsaber fights are thrilling. You can't get enough of it. You'll be begging for more. You will want this film to display more of those laser swords in action. And the way the new characters integrate themselves with the stories of Rey, Kylo Ren, Finn, and Poe Dameron is quite seamless. Whatever conflicts amongst them or their collision only lead to some of this film's most heroic moments that are highlighted by this film's remarkable sound mix and sound editing. This is a movie that entirely looks and breathes and moves and feels like a Star Wars movie with an Oscar-worthy, deeply affecting drama that stays with you long after the end credits roll. The Force is strong with Star Wars The Last Jedi. So that's my review of Star Wars The Last Jedi. Share your thoughts in the comments section below and share this video with all your friends on the YouTube-verse, and please subscribe to my channel. This video is made possible thanks to your support on Patreon. So go to patreon.com/ramascreen, sign up there today, and become my patrons. Let's rock this.